If you're an educator, you know what I'm talking about. There are so many kids right now in our society who do not care about their education. They don't care about school. They don't care about how they're coming to school. And ultimately, they don't even care if they pass or fail. And many of us are right now, we're aggravated, we're upset, we're confused. Why is this such a prevalent problem that's happening within our society? Why do the youth seem as though they just don't care? And we like to sometimes stem it to issues that are happening within the home, which is very true, very valid. We like to say that sometimes it's the parents' fault that they don't care about education. Absolutely, it could definitely be an issue. We sometimes say, well, social media is the main cause behind why these youth are just not caring. Their minds are distorted and disoriented and rotting, basically, from all the excess technology that's being given to them at this point. And yes, definitely also a valid point. But I have a point that I think some of us miss. Look at who these kids are following. Like, think about this for a second. Like, look at who is around them. Most of them right now, Gen Alpha and late Gen Z, they are around parents who are either millennials or Gen X, not necessarily baby boomers. But what do we talk about? What do millennials and Gen X talk about so much? The deterioration of the world, how everything bad happened to us. We went to school and we paid all this money just to go into debt and not go into the very field that we even went into in the first place and spent 6 years of our time or 4 years of our time or 8 years of our time to study. And then we're complaining about life in multiple different facets. We're not taking care of our bodies. We're not taking care of our minds. Mental health is on the rise, especially right now within Gen Z and Gen Alpha. There's so many prevailing issues, and they're watching us, and they're saying, why would I want that for myself? And a lot of it stems from the fact that, a lot of us went through the same education process that we were told to do. We literally screamed this from the mountaintops, how education didn't get us exactly what we wanted. Now we're just with a mountain of debt instead of the promises that were given to us. Right? If you go to university, you're gonna have a great life. You're gonna have a great school. You go to get a great job, get a great family, and die when you're about 70, 80 years old. And some of us are just wanting to die now. Because we're asking ourselves, man, what's the purpose of all of this? And so these young kids are in school. And they're like, wait, you want us to care enough about how, our grades and our schooling just to end up like this? They hear it from their parents. They hear it on social media. They see it all over the world. I mean, and then look at this. You look at this perspective. You have people from the right, like for instance, what's that dude's name, man? I forgot his name. He goes and speaks to a whole bunch of people online. It's not Tucker Carlson. Yeah. So then you have people from the right, like Charlie Kirk, who are bashing university, and they say, well, what's the point? University is just a scam. There's really no reason for you. You should be able to get basically your own education. You're just spending a whole bunch of money. And then you have people from the left who are like, well, you should get a great education, but then they're not even helping are not helping with family structures, and they're not helping to make sure that ultimately that the life that they have outside of the university is well taken care of after the university. And so they're okay with them going into university, but then they have a mountain of debt, and a university is 10 times more expensive than it was before. So just like think about what the youth are going through in their minds. No one's agreeing with anyone. Everyone is fighting something. Adults are, and I've said this many times, adults are fighting and youth are suffering. Well, of course. why would they care? What gives them the real reason to say I really want to care about my education? If this is what I'm gonna get into, what's the point? And so a lot of them, you'll ask them like, man, what do you want to do with your life? Just had a group actually, and most of them, they said, money, money. I just want money. I just want money. I just want money. But I always ask them the question, with money, you wanting money, that's great. But having money and how you get money are two different things. And a lot of them are just not understanding the path behind how they want to get this money. We have a lot of people, right, youth right now who, they watch what's happening online. They watch, Andrew Tate's of the world. They watch, all these individuals who are spreading information to their minds. Realize I didn't say false information, because look, you guys could hate whoever you want to hate. There's always someone who's speaking some sort of truth in some way, and you got to be very careful, all right? Because at the end of the day, someone may be giving you 60% of truth and 40% fallacy, 70% truth, 30% fallacy, 90% truth, 10% fallacy. You have to be able to decipher and ultimately have the discernment to look and basically sift through the information. But these kids are given all this information, and they see what life has given to people who have said, go a certain route. It's not easy. And so they rather just make money. But one of the things that I always try to push, instead of just pushing for money, push for purpose. And in your purpose, you will find money. Because everyone is going to pay for something. I don't care. Look, you look at the drug addicts on the street, he's still going to pay for his crap. You look for the person who needs healing, they're going to pay for a doctor. You look for the person who needs help with their business, they're going to pay for a mentor. You look for the person who needs guidance, they're going to pay for either a spiritual mentor or yoga practices or meditation, whatever, right? People are going to pay for something. And what I think we need to start getting to is a place where we start helping youth to realize that in order for you to get to that place where you're able to make tons of money, you have to purpose and serve a population of people who would want to pay for the things that you have to offer. And the way we package that, the way that we ultimately give that to youth will help them to understand what it is that they need in order for them to succeed. And I really do believe that the way that the typical education system right now is being given to our youth, it's not something that they're caring for, and I don't think it's something that is going to continue to hold on to. Like, COVID had a beautiful opportunity to start shifting, and so many organizations had a great place to start shifting the way that they did things since COVID. Education also had that same opportunity, and I do believe that they missed a major mark, just not choosing to start pivoting a little bit more in areas that can really help the youth see value in different aspects of their lives. They need to understand their purpose. And it's hard for them to understand their purpose through history lessons about the 1600s or 700 BC, and it doesn't apply to their lives, right? It's hard for them to see what's the purpose of math. Like, everyone talks about math and so but I'm never going to use this. I'm never going to use this. What's the point? Man, if you're able as a teacher to not just say learn it because you have to learn it, but giving a purpose behind how this can help them understand, like understanding how math can actually help you to become a much better financial what's the word? I'm looking for the exact word, but just understanding your responsibility through math and understanding how you can calculate different equations, or making sure that you understand balance sheets, or putting something into practicality where they can see how this is going to affect their future. We need to make things more streamlined this way so that youth can start seeing how this will affect their purpose. And like for instance, that's why I do my EYE program, Elevate Your Excellence. I'm giving them tangible, concrete tools to understand the mindset behind how they need to start thinking of themselves and the world around them, the tools that they need in order for, like, for instance, understanding goal setting, understanding how to help elevate the way that you think, understanding that. So I break down this model of the head, heart, and hands, realizing how all of these bring into action the ultimate person that you become. Because every single one of us, we may have great thoughts, but we don't have great actions, right? We may have great actions, but we don't have great thoughts. And so bringing all of this together allows them to be able to do this in a way that's concrete, so they can understand their purpose and then now be able to execute that purpose properly. Youth need to understand their purpose. There is nothing more fundamentally important in their life. If you want them to succeed, they need to understand the purpose behind why they do the things that they do. Stop being afraid of answering the question why. Because your lack of an answer is pushing them away from you in the first place. You just saying, well, you just need to learn this just to learn this. You just need to read just to read. You just need to be able to do math just to do math. No, that's not going to fly anymore. It barely flew for us in our generation growing up in the 90s and 2000s. It's definitely not happening now, especially when the kids see that there are so many people who are making money in so many different ways that you don't need those things. And so understanding the purpose behind why you do what you do is going to be critical, crucial, instrumental to the youth and the development of their mindset into the action. You want kids to really start succeeding in school? Make sure they understand the purpose behind every single grade, every single class, and how this will apply to their future. Then you're going to start seeing kids who are actually interested. Because, I mean, think about it. If it was the case for us, we spent all this time, all this money, all this energy, and now many of us didn't even do the thing that we did or studied. And we're, you hear how many people are just tired? I mean, you see it all the time. I'm broke. I'm tired. I have no energy. There's not enough time in the day. Both families are working. Both parents are working in a home. At least back in some time, even in the early 2000s, at least one parent could stay at home. It's barely even the case anymore with inflation. And so you're looking at youth who have apathy and don't care because they're wondering what's the purpose of caring in the first place. And if you can't answer that question for them, then you're going to have a hard time. So that's one of the greatest missions that I'm doing right now, is helping these youth understand their purpose, helping people in general understand their purpose and their potential. Because once you understand your purpose and their potential, then you start setting goals that align to that purpose. And then you're able to now choose and decide, how am I going to move from this? You know why kids do drugs? They have no time. They have all the time. They have all the time to do nothing. You know why kids gangbang out in the streets? Because someone gave them a purpose. It doesn't matter if it was a bad purpose. Someone gave them a task and said, you're important to this organization. You like that. Everyone wants to be cemented into something. People want to feel important, and people want to feel that whatever they are doing is important to some sort of cause. So, what are you giving them to see about themselves and how to view the world around them? Give them a purpose, man. That's why my goal right now is to help 1 million people understand their purpose, potential, and achieve their dreams. We have to be able to help these youth get a bigger picture of their lives. Because a lot of them, their perspective is very small. It's very tainted as well. So if we can get them to see just a little bit differently, maybe, just maybe, we'll start seeing better schools. But I think there needs to be a major shift in how education is being done today. Because it's clearly not working. You go anywhere, mostly through North America, most of education systems and practices in schools are at C levels, even possibly D. And then you have a whole bunch of, the whole No Child Left Behind Act, where it doesn't even matter about how they have there's literally no consequence. There's no reason for them to, and then other kids are seeing this and they're like, well, they might even be able to get a university or college without even trying harder. They're gonna do X, Y, and Z without trying. What's the point of me trying? Like, there's so many factors that are causing issues within our education right now. We need a revamp. But the other thing is, we need a lot more people who care. We need teachers who care. We need administrators who care about teachers and students. We need politicians who actually care about the work that's being done that's affecting these youth, because they don't send their kids to the public schools. They send their kids to either private schools or they're getting homeschooled, and they know that those kids are in trouble. They know what's happening within society, but they know because it's not necessarily hitting their doorstep, it doesn't affect them as much. But people like me, despite the fact that I may be able to bring my child to a certain different type of education or whatever the case may be, because I have a heart and I care so much about the youth of this generation, it's imperative for me to want to see a difference within the youth of this generation, because I want to see this world better than the way that I left it. We need more people who care. Do you?